2 years ago, my life looked ordinary. Bills, routines, distractions. I had big dreams written in journals, but most of them stayed trapped on the page. I wanted transformation, but I secretly hoped for explosions. The big break, the lightning strike moment where life changes overnight. That moment never came. What did come was something boring at first, something so small it felt almost laughable, the compound effect. And yet, in just 2 years of applying it, I won OXD my income, my health, my relationships, my confidence, and my sense of control. It didn't happen with giant leaps. It happened with tiny choices stacked daily until they became unstoppable. The first day of compounding didn't feel powerful at all. On day 1, I set the simplest goal. 10 pages. I closed the book in 15 minutes. Nothing changed. No fireworks, no new life. Day 2, I read 10 more. Day 3, 10 more. Within a month, I'd finished 3 books. Within a year, 30 books used to feel impossible. Suddenly, it was normal. Multiply 30 books of growth and strategies and mindset shifts, and your brain is literally restructured. What felt microscopic day 1 became monumental in hindsight. Here's the brutal truth. Most people never change, not because they're incapable, but because they underestimate the small. They dismiss it. They say, 10 pages doesn't matter. 1 workout doesn't matter. $1 saved doesn't matter. And they're right. For 1 day, it doesn't. But add them daily, synchronize them with time, and the world tilts in your favor. The compound effect is the invisible hand, turning pennies into fortunes, calories into bodies, habits into empires. At the start of those 2 years, I weighed 20 pounds heavier with weak discipline. I started tiny 1 push-up in the morning, then 2, 3, 4. Laughable at first. But within weeks, I was doing full workouts daily. The momentum didn't explode at once. It snowballed. My body changed not from 1 workout, but from 700 stacked finances. Same story. I saved what felt like scraps. Skipped 1 coffee, invested the $5. In a week, nothing. In a month, $100. In a year, thousands. But the bigger shift wasn't just the saved money, it was the identity. I became the kind of person who multiplies instead of leaks. That identity compounded faster than the dollars, and 2 years later, my whole money situation had transformed. Relationships, confidence, career, all obey compounding. 2 years ago, I was the kind of person who only said yes if I felt totally ready. But I forced myself to have 1 uncomfortable conversation per week, 1 awkward pitch, 1 new connection. At first, nothing. A few awkward silences and rejections, but week by week, skill stacked, confidence stacked, my network stacked, until opportunities that seemed unreachable before started knocking. Here's what most people get wrong. They chase intensity, not consistency. They sprint on January 1st, extreme gym sessions, crazy diets, 50 pages of reading. Then they collapse by February. Why? Because they thought change is a giant explosion. It's not. Change is a quiet whisper compounded until it's a roar. That's the power of the compound effect. Small, smart choices done consistently magnify like crazy when time multiplies them. The science proves it. Habit researcher B.J. Fogg of Stanford found that tiny actions create stickier habits. Start flossing 1 tooth. Start 2 push-ups. Start saving $1. Why? Because victory spirals. Small wins build momentum. Dopamine hits turn repetition into consistency. Your brain starts craving the streak. That streak is where compounding lives. For the first 6 months of my 2-year transformation, I saw almost nothing. I didn't look radically different. My bank account wasn't suddenly stacked. The boredom was crushing. And this is where most people quit. They walk away right before the exponential curve, because the compound effect always feels like nothing, until suddenly it feels like everything. Month 7, my body lines sharpened. Month 8, my savings account looked different. Month 9, I gave the best presentation of my life, because I'd been slowly building confidence in conversations. None of that happened overnight. Each was the visible proof of months of invisible stacking. And then the curve hit. That's what compounding is, the hockey stick graph, the overnight success 2 years in the making. Suddenly, deals came my way. People assumed I transformed instantly, but the truth, They just weren't watching me when I was compounding invisibly every day. Here's the dark side, though. Compounding doesn't only work for growth. It works for decay. Eat 200 extra calories daily. Harmless. In a week, nothing. In a month, barely noticeable. In a year, 20 pounds heavier. Scroll social media just an hour daily. In a week, nothing. In a year, that's 365 hours. Nearly 10 full work weeks vanished, just as small good stacks into greatness, small bad stacks into disaster. That's the terrifying power of compounding ignored. By the end of 2 years, I wasn't the same human. My income was 10x, not because of lottery wins, but because compounding skills, projects, and confidence landed me opportunities I once thought impossible. My health transformed, my relationships deepened. My mornings had discipline baked into them. And the greatest result wasn't external lit, was the new self-trust. I trusted myself because I had evidence daily, evidence that I follow through. That identity is the real jackpot. So, how do you use the compound effect? Decide today on one tiny action. Repeat it daily. Guard it like sacred fire. Don't chase dramatic intensity chase streaks, and trust the boredom. Trust that the curve is loading. Remember, a few drops don't fill the bucket instantly until they do. And when they do, it pours over, unstoppable. The billionaire Warren Buffett has a quote, "Compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who ignores it, pays it." Apply that not just to money, but to every domain of your life. You're either collecting interest or paying it. In your health, your mind, your skills, your relationships, interest never stops. It's just a matter of direction. 2 years taught me the most important lesson. Compounding is always happening. The question is, are you compounding forward or backward? If you want to 10x your life, stop waiting for a miracle. Pick one tiny action and repeat it for 2 years. It won't feel powerful today, but come back later and you won't even recognize yourself. The compound effect is slow. The compound effect is silent, but then it's unstoppable.